All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. In this video, we're going to talk about 10, 10 luxury Zetas in the game. I'll explain what a luxury Zeta is. We'll talk about why these Zetas, in my opinion, think they're luxury, and how you guys can use them. Before we do that, guys, what I need you to do, leave a like, leave a comment, and get this channel to 5,000 subscribers, because what you need to do, smash that subscribe button to get our King Wampa to Relic 8. Guys, Wampa is king on this channel. He may not always be in your team, but he's always in your heart. This channel hits 5,000 subscribers. Wampa hits Relic 8. It's that simple, guys. I can't do it without you. All right, so let's get these luxury Zetas. So the luxurious life. A luxury Zeta, I have 5 characters here. These luxury Zetas, guys, are Zetas that don't materially change the way a character operates. They just add a layer that can make them a little bit more complex, a little bit more difficult to beat. So let's start with the first one, Jango Fett. His notorious reputation has a Zeta ability here that enemies defeated on his turn cannot be revived. As good as this Zeta sounds, because this is a very good Zeta, it is a luxury Zeta because it's completely dependent upon Jango getting the kill on his turn. So anything like Greef Karga calling people to assist, Jango gets that kill, doesn't matter, they can be revived. So you've got to really time your kills with this, and it's only for teams that have revives, which some of those teams, like a Night Sister team, they've got revives. You kill like a Newt Gunray, he's not going to get revived. So there's a few teams that have that revive, but not every team has revives as it is. So this Zeta is a little bit more situational and kind of meets that luxury tier, right? That you can still use him without this Zeta and do really good things, because if that team doesn't have a revive, they're not coming back anyway. So again, that's the first one. Second one, sticking with his son, Boba Fett. On his Bounty Hunter's Resolve unique ability, on a finishing blow, recover 100% turn meter. Again, another kill-based Zeta here. If Boba gets the kill, he's going to get 100% turn meter. That's it. So it's nice, but remember, his Omega level already gives him Bounty Hunter's Resolve when he kills somebody. So, whenever he defeats an enemy, he's gaining Bounty Hunter's Resolve. It's just adding 100% protection. It's a very annoying Zeta when it happens, but again, completely reliant on Boba Fett getting kills, and that's not always the case. Jedi Knight Anakin, this is 100% a luxury Zeta. Hopefully, this is a prime example right now. The first two, maybe some people give me flack for, but his Righteous Fury. So, he gets that whenever an ally falls below 50% health or is defeated, he takes a bonus turn. If Padme Amidala is an ally, she takes a bonus turn after each of Anakin's bonus turns. Well, the most common use for this dude right now is using him with Qui-Gon Jinn, Omicron, and Grand Arena. So if you're using him that way, right, you're putting him with Qui-Gon Jinn in Grand Arena, you're not going to put Padme in that team because she's not a Jedi. And again, with his ability, I forget which one it is. Is it, Galactic Republic. I forget where it is. Oh, it would ruin the Kaidi Mundi. That's right. Duh. It would ruin Kaidi Mundi's unique ability because she's not a Galactic Republic Jedi. But anyway, you're not going to use Padme in that team. So it's a Zeta that, unless you're using him with Padme, which in some cases you are, is completely useless, right? Because it's not Ahsoka and no, Padme. All right, Mara Jade is the next one. Her Ultimate Predator has a Zeta, which this ability deals double damage to shock enemies and Jedi. Keep in mind, Mara Jade's primary purpose inside of her teams is to inflict debuffs. That's how she gets the turn meter train started under Emperor Palpatine. This ability is going to dispel buffs, inflict stun and vulnerable on target enemy. Then it's going to inflict tenacity down on all enemies. She's got, offense down, shock, stagger, right? Like all these debuffs here. Even this one, it's got daze for 2 turns, and she's not there for damage. This is a luxury. I didn't equip this until she was at Relics, and even then I think it took me a little bit before I was like, yeah, this is worth it. It's really nice. It's, again, kind of dependent upon Jedi enemies and shocked and Jedi enemies. I get it. But it can really surprise you when she goes in and does an AoE where she deals 30, 40k damage to an enemy because of that ability. And, if you mod her for crit damage, which I have a crit damage triangle on her, So again, just a Zeta that kind of doesn't change the way we use her. That the primary way you use Mary Jade is to inflict debuffs. Her dealing that damage is just a nice thing to have. It's not gonna all of a sudden, like this team with that Zeta, right? It's not gonna necessarily revolutionize them, but it's gonna make them a little bit better. Colonel Starck here, this Imperial Intelligence. At the end of his turn, Starck recovers 3% protection, removes 1% turn meter from all enemies for each active Empire ally, doubled for Imperial Trooper allies. Whew. So he's getting 3% protection recovery at the end of his turn. All right, whatever. That's nothing, right? But this, he can remove, you think about it, you run him with 5 Imperial Troopers, right? Because you count himself there. He's going to remove 10% turn meter from, the enemy. This is the catch-all. This is only, this Zeta really only works when they're facing a team that can have turn meter removed. So a team like Sith Empire, team like Lord Vader, they're immune to turn meter reduction. You can't remove their turn meter, so he's not, this Zeta is then just, he's recovering additional protection. Cool, so it's not really doing a lot. What I say with this Zeta, it's one that I maybe notice 5% of my time, where I'm facing a team that could still be gaining turn meter and he's removing it. It can help you keep that turn meter train going. You think maybe you're going up against a team and you're not getting kills. This 10% turn meter removal could be the difference between winning and losing. Again, with all of these Zetas that I mentioned, at 8 million galactic power, me having these is not ridiculous. The Anakin one I've had for a very long time, since before Kenobi came around. So again, that's kind of one of those where at one point in time it was amazing and now, necessary. And now it's kind of in that luxury tier where, hey, if we're using him with Padme, she's going to take some bonus turns. But all of these Zetas will make the character better, could give you more uses with them, but they're luxury. They're not going to, you're not going to not use Boba Fett in your bounty hunter team if he doesn't have that Zeta early on, right? Like it's not going to make or break your team if he has or doesn't have that. Jango Fett, with his, you're kind of in this, it allows him to beat like Night Sister squads, or if you're going up against a bounty hunter team and you kill another Jango or Boba with bounty hunters resolved, they're not coming back. So again, first 5 luxury Zetas. All right, the next 5, ultimate luxury. I didn't really break these into tiers of one or the other. They're all luxury Zetas. Some are definitely better than others, but we're going to keep going here with Dark Trooper. His bombarding reinforcements. So you guys have to keep in mind that he starts with 4 stacks of Dark Trooper squad, and that his basic will deal damage once for each stack of Dark Trooper squad. So in this bombarding reinforcements, it says if Dark Trooper has less than 3 stacks, so 1 or 2 stacks, just that so much, I don't know, less than 3 is so, like, so 1 or 2 stacks, Dark Trooper squad, it'll gain 1 stack. So if he's down to 2 stacks of Dark Trooper squad, he can use this ability, and he'll go back up to 3. The reason this is a luxury Zeta is because normally if your Dark Trooper's taking damage, you've probably lost the battle, right? Like you can normally judge on if Dark Trooper drops below 4 stacks, you're normally losing that battle. Like that's just kind of the way it happens. However, this has come into, this has saved me against Darth Revan a few times where Piet's alive, Dark Trooper's alive, and Darth Revan's the last one, and I can keep Dark Trooper alive by giving him these stacks and time to kill Darth Revan with Piet or with Dark Trooper Punch because we moved up a little bit. Again, guys, I'm not saying that if you're early on in the game, this is not a Zeta that I would be equipping, because you won't notice it 99 times out of 100, you probably won't notice it. I can't tell you the last time this actually made a difference for me. Like, it's not coming to my, I just know it's helped against Darth Revan in the past, but it's been a while. So not a Zeta that's, again, it's a luxury Zeta, and it kind of fits perfectly to what a luxury Zeta is. It's just, yeah, it's nice to have, but you don't really have to use it, right? Greef Karga, bring them in cold. And I think I'll get some hate for this, but you guys got to understand the context of this ability. So it's adding 20% more damage, right? And it's saying, you're going to dispel all buffs and then call other bounty hunter allies to assist. Allies with payouts active deal 10% more damage. So the Zeta is adding 20% more damage, but only when their payouts are active. And if you're most of the time with Greef Karga, this is the first ability you're using in the game, right? First ability is this. So they won't have their payout active the first time you use this ability. So you're hoping that you get to use this more than once in a battle for it to make a difference. That's why I say it's luxury. It's completely dependent, one, that payout is active to deal that additional level of damage. And then two, on top of that, you've got to hope you then not only get your payouts active, but then get to use it again. So it's a luxury, guys. It's not completely necessary. You can do fine without it. Echo. This one is one of the better ones on this list. However, in terms of the 501st, there are much more important Zetas than Echoes. So what it adds to his ability, when an enemy evades an attack from a clone trooper or 501st, Echo deals damage to them equal to 20% of their max health, which can't be evaded. Which is super nice. I'm not going to say that that's not really, really nice. But you're then really just adding that there's the random dodge that comes into play at times, but really, teams with foresight, and there's not a ton of teams with foresight where you need that 20% to really ramp things up. At least in the game right now, I don't feel that there's enough teams with where this is happening, where you're doing a lot of damage with this. It might happen once a game at best. I mean, it doesn't happen often enough that you feel like at the point that I use my 501st, the teams I'm using them against, I normally am not feeling the impact of this on a regular basis. Again, guys, just kind of putting that out there that it's not something you see often enough through that by the time this takes effect, the match is already over, sort of thing. Again, I'm just, saying that. It's a nice one, but it's definitely more luxury. Geonosian Brood Alpha. His leadership. Basic abilities of Geonosian allies deal 10% more damage for each buffed enemy. Which sounds great, except that Sun Fac dispels buffs on his basic. So if you're going up against a team like a pre-taunting tank, you think, oh yeah, I'm going to be dealing more damage. Yeah, but Sun Fac's going to go dispel that. Now nobody's, and it's only their basic too. But, oh, you guys can hear my dog barking. It really doesn't. I think my wife just got home, so that's nice. That's what we'll come home to every day, guys. So basic ability, 10% more damage for buffed enemies. Sun Fac's going to dispel buffs when you attack anyway, so early on in the battle this can help, but as it continues to go on, if we really don't have that impact, and again, a lot of times with those buffs, they need to be taking turns, and Geonosians lap them, so it's not one that I think is really necessary. You almost have to purposefully avoid targeting people with buffs. All right, this last one, guys, Commander Luke Skywalker, and I know I'm going to get hate for this, but I was looking through this and it always makes me laugh. So his leadership Zeta. When an enemy resists a detrimental effect, rebel allies gain 5% turn meter. That's the Zeta. It binds all things. Whenever Luke resists a detrimental effect, he recovers 5% protection. Okay. And whenever Luke inflicts a debuff, he gains 10% turn meter, and other allies gain half that amount. So this is what's funny. With the leadership, it's whenever they resist a detrimental effect, rebel allies gain 5% turn meter. And then whenever Luke inflicts a debuff, he's going to gain 10%, so he's gaining more, and other allies gain half that amount. So it binds all things is definitely the stronger of those two abilities, simply because there's protection recovery and there's more turn meter gain for Luke. But if you put this one on, it's about him inflicting debuffs. So somebody like me who runs him with tenacity, I'm not going to be inflicting as many debuffs because I don't have potency on him. So you almost need potency to take full advantage of it binds all things. And his leadership is saying that whenever an enemy resists a detrimental effect, they gain 5% turn meter. So it's kind of one of those funny things where his unique wants him to inflict debuffs and his leadership wants him to get resisted so you can gain turn meter. So the luxury one really is his leadership, but you could make the case that it binds all things could technically be that luxury if you're going to run him for a tenacity like I am. Again, I have them both. I think of all the characters on this list, if I was to say you have two Zetas and you weren't sure who to give them to, I'd say give them both to CLS. on his abilities. Like if you were going for any of these luxury Zetas, CLSs are definitely the strongest too, but I thought it'd be kind of funny to put him in here, kind of show that like the unique and leadership are working against each other. So those are 10 Zetas, guys, that are luxury. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Do you agree with this list? Are there other characters that you think I missed? As always, guys, get this channel to 5,000 subscribers. If you're still watching now, let me know how loud the dog barking was for you guys, because I cannot imagine what that sounded like, especially on the microphone, just in the computer. You guys know, I just want to put this in here in a video. Hopefully some people see this. I know it's at the end. I just have not been able to invest in a mic yet, guys. I've got a lot of other things, so I really appreciate all the support. I know the audio quality isn't the greatest, but I love every single one of you guys. And you know what? We're going to leave it on here too. I'm going to plug this in as well in this video. I'll keep mentioning it. I do not pronounce words correctly, if you guys can't tell, especially when I said apparently you're supposed to say meta instead of meta for, you know, most effective team available. Like, it doesn't matter how you say it. I'm saying you guys knew what I was talking about, so job done. Anyway, guys, I do love it in the comments. It's a lot of fun to see. Thank you guys so much for all the love. Fat Phil signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.